Hey folks, welcome back. Today I want to do a quick video, just a follow-up. I did a video, a couple of days ago that uploaded. That halfway through the video, I realized that I was kind of focusing more towards personal carry or concealed carry, and it was basically a video that, I talked about how a lot of gun tubers will say, this is the best, or the best, or and I completely disagree with that, because I think everything is, is preferential towards whoever it's applying to. And, go back and watch that video and you can see, how I kind of broke that down and to fully understand that. But halfway through that video, I realized that, that category kind of falls into two directions, not only personal carry, but also home defense. So here we are. We're going to talk about home defense. Now, we'll start with the pistol. This is my concealed carry pistol. This also works well for home defense and would work well for home defense. Very quick target very quick targeting. What's the word I'm looking for? Target acquire, target acquisition. It's very natural for me to get up and line up the iron sights. I'm not a fan of optics on pistols or flashlights. I mean, yeah, they're cool. I'm just not a personal fan. I have an EDC flashlight that I would prefer to hold in a separate hand, whether, I'm bracing it, or I'm holding it away. So I prefer to keep my pistols basic, no flashlights, no optics. I may in the future consider, some of the optics that they make. This one does not have an optics plate. So obviously it's not an option on this pistol, but you never know what the future holds. But I guess back to what I was saying as far as home defense, a pistol works great for home defense. I'm not going to argue that. And there's probably going to be people out there that say the pistol is the best for home defense. And that may be true for them. I don't quite feel it's the best for me in my situation. So I've chosen another route. That brings us to the rifle, which is another common choice for home defense. I see no shortage of people that are buying or building, ARs or anything on the AR platform. And these do work well for, defense situations, high capacity, fairly easy to operate. My question is, for home defense, is a variable power or LPVO or whatever the initials are, whatever it is that ideal for, home defense? If you're close, are you going to have the time to line that all up and get into it? No, you're not. So I don't feel, but I didn't build this for that purpose. This is I believe a 2 to 8 power Vortex, and this rifle is basically designed for that up to 350 yard range. I could probably stretch out a little bit further, but comfortably, I would feel pretty confident out to 300 yards, but certainly not for home defense. But not to say that there aren't people that choose the AR platform for home defense. Now, I have another build that's in progress for another AR. You may have seen some of the videos. It's more of a blueprint build. I'm putting a little more attention into the build itself. It's going to be slightly different. The barrel length is a little bit shorter, but basically it's the same setup or a very similar setup, just barrel's going to be a little bit shorter. And the reason I don't have it finished yet is I had to send the barrel out to the gunsmith to have the muzzle device pin and welded on, so I can meet the 16-inch requirements for rifle length. So I don't have to pay the short barrel taxes and all that nonsense. It's easier just to follow the law and make it 16 inches. So as soon as that barrel comes back, I will get that build wrapped up. And now for that build, which waiting for its new home, is this optic, which is slightly different than this optic, as you can tell. This optic is magnified. It does have a lighted reticle, but I generally am not a fan of a lighted reticle. Maybe during low light situations, I would sometimes use it, but for the most part, I'm kind of old school. I'm a standard reticle. It's kind of what I'm used to and what I am most comfortable with. This will be my first optic like this, a red dot, or actually this one's a green dot. I don't have astigmatism or anything. My eye picks up the green dot a little bit better than the red dot. So I decided to go with the green. That's what this next rifle is going to get. And with this being non-magnified, there are a lot of gun tubers out there that will say, you put this on and it's great for home defense, for CQB, which stands for close quarters combat. Not too many of us are going to get into close quarters combat. For the most part, we're going to chase an assailant off or a burglar or something, and we hope we don't have to fire our weapon. But I'm still uncertain as to my level of comfort with a rifle and this optic, trying to find the dot. It would require more training. I'm sure there's guys out there that can shoulder it quickly from low ready and be right on the dot and have a very quick target acquisition. I'm just not that guy. With a little bit of practice and training, I could probably get myself to that level. Same with an optic on a pistol. It's just not what I'm most comfortable with. So, in the future, we'll get to see this build. I'm excited for it, to see how it turns out. But back to home defense. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, because I am no expert, and by no means should anyone take my opinion as what's best for me in a home defense situation and assume that it applies to them in their home defense situation, because everybody's houses are different. Some people have apartments, some people have condos, some people have farmhouses, some people have one-story, home. Everybody's situation is going to be different. That means that there's a lot of variables involved in choosing a home defense weapon. For me personally, I like a tried and true 12 gauge. It's a pump 12 gauge. This is a Remington 870. You see, it's not loaded. I don't keep any of my firearms loaded on a regular basis. This one has been modified. I have the rail on it. If I decide to put a red dot or a green dot on it, I have yet to make that decision. This is an aftermarket barrel. It's only 20 inches, I believe, as opposed to the 26 or the 28 that came on it originally. And then I also have the magazine tube extender, so it holds a little more for a little more than the 3 rounds or 4 rounds that it held, factory. But basically, it's just a standard 12 gauge shotgun. It can be shouldered. It doesn't really have to be aimed. It just has to be pointed. The biggest thing that I feel makes a difference in home defense, is that noise. If an assailant hears that noise, it's 99 out of 100 times a deterrent and cause for them to go the other way. This is universal. I'm about to bring the business end to you. So I don't want to have to be in a situation where I have to use a firearm. No one does. So of course, any deterrent that I can, access, even if it's just a noise, I'm going to go that route. Now, I have the equalizer if it's necessary, but again, when it comes to, home defense, your priority is your safety and the safety of your family. So, to answer the question, is there a best for home defense? The answer is yes, but it's going to be what is best for who it's applied to. A shotgun may not be the best for some. It may be the pistol. It may be the rifle. It may be something else. Everybody's situation is going to be different. So you can't umbrella an answer as far as the best choice for home defense. So, don't watch the, and I watch a lot of gun tubers, the gun channels on YouTube, and I think they're great. I get a lot of knowledge from them. But I know there are some that say, this is the best for their, this is the best. And, I can't 100% agree with that, because everyone's situation is different. So take it for what it is. And, before you choose your home defense weapon, regardless of what it is, whether it's a pistol or a shotgun or a rifle, think about the situation. Are you going to have to move through some hallways and stairwells? You may not want a full rifle for that. That's a lot of, movement, and you may not want the shotgun because it's equally as big. It's long, it's out there. If you're working with an apartment or something that's a little bit on the small side, the pistol might work best for you. But if you're in, a pretty large open house, the rifle may work with, the no power, red dot optic. Again, everybody's situation is going to be different, as well as everybody's level of training and how much training they have with whatever they've chosen. So, my second piece of advice is, whatever you choose and whatever you feel is best for your situation, train, because the I don't even know how to word this. The most boutique gear or the most bougie gear out there doesn't do a thing if you don't know how to use it. You can have the fanciest, most expensive AR on the market, and if you don't know how to work your way around a tight situation in a CQB atmosphere, then you're not going to prevail in that situation. The same as, if the area that you're trying to protect is huge, and targets could be as far as 60, 70, 80 yards away, the pistol may not be the best choice for you. It may be the rifle. So you have to be careful of your choice. And again, what works best in the scenario that you're in. I wouldn't recommend anybody just go out and buy the coolest, the most tactical thing out there, because it may not be the most efficient for your situation. So you got to think about it very carefully. And again, train. Take not only the concealed weapons class, take a shooting class, take an active shooting class where you're working around barricades, so you can actually see the capability of the weapon that you've chosen. So take that for what it is. That's all I got for you today. I hope it helps. It's a big decision to make. Home defense is no, laughing matter. It's an important thing, and we all think about it. Of course, we all want the coolest stuff out there, but not all the time is the coolest thing out there the best thing for our situation. So keep that in mind when you're making your decision. Keep your head on a swivel, and we'll see you next time.